All right, my name is Mitchell Provençal. I am the program coordinator for Baton Rouge Community Farm. We're a 4-acre farm at Breck's Howell Park. So it's an old golf course. It's about 140 acres, and we have partnered with Breck to start a community farm there. And within Baton Rouge, we have 18 raised beds. Call it Harmony Gardens, and we do lots of intergenerational work there, so people of all ages can come out each week to get like hands-on experience working in a garden, and then whatever we're harvesting, people also get to take home as well for free. And then outside of the community garden space, we have probably close to 2 acres that are tilled up and under more of like a farm production scale. So we have like traditional rows in the ground where we're growing crops. Outside, previous to COVID, we had a youth program at the farm called Hustle and Grow, where we work with high school students, teaching them about urban agriculture, working with them to grow food for their neighborhood and the community. And this project was born out of my interest in helping to create like a new food system. So we know a lot of people have trouble accessing fresh fruits and vegetables. And so the idea behind this project to create a solution is to grow food right where it's needed on a big scale, so that we're really able to harvest and provide the community with, a substantial amount of produce. And we're part of the Mayor's Go Get Healthy Coalition, which is working in a bunch of different other aspects to provide food security to North Baton Rouge. So we're just one little component in this. But we focus on education, getting people interested in gardening, doing home gardening, but also getting students connected to agriculture. A lot of schools don't have big ag programs, so our program is like a good counter or a good connection or starting point to get students into agriculture. And this year we also have expanded to a few school sites as well. So instead of having students come out to the farm, we're actually working within schools. So we have sites at Glen Oaks High, Scotlandville High, and Capitol High. And we're doing various size gardens at each of those schools to work with students where they're already at. So we started the planning for Baton Rouge in the end of 2018. The raised garden beds were built at the beginning of 2019. And then the farm plot was tilled up in the summer of 2019. So it's probably been about 2 years since we started planning the project out. But the farm production has been probably about 1.5 years. Yeah, that's super important. I remember when I first started gardening, I didn't know anything about plant spacing or what to plant, when to plant. I just took seeds and threw it in my garden. And of course, it doesn't work like that. You need a little more thought behind it. So we're heading into the cooler season, ready for fall and winter. It feels really cool outside today. So we've pretty much transitioned our farm to cool season crops. So what we have growing right now, turnips, collards, mustards, lettuce, beets, carrots, radishes. All of these things really like the cool weather: cabbage, broccoli, Swiss chard. And even if it freezes a little and we start to get a frost in the next few weeks or month, all these crops will still do really, really good. And like things like collards even taste better, and carrots too taste better after it freezes as well. Like the sugars in the leaves and the root just sweeten up, and so it's so important to be able to plant with the seasons and know when to plant stuff. We definitely reference LSU's planting guide to kind of give you a window of when things can go in the ground. And even though we'll be growing in Louisiana, South Louisiana is great because you can grow year round. Like you can always have something in the ground. Up north, when it's snowing, they can't grow anything unless they have a greenhouse or a high tunnel. But we can pretty much always grow here. And we're already planning out the spring season because come January, we'll be starting seeds for the spring. So once it starts to warm up in the spring, we'll get all of our tomatoes and peppers and eggplants, squash, zucchini, cucumbers, all that stuff loves the warm weather, and okra, of course. Um, and actually at the farm right now, we still have okra growing right now, and it'll keep going until we get a hard freeze and all of it will die off. We'll chop it back and we'll plant some cool season stuff that can handle um, the cooler temperatures for the next few months. But yeah, come January, we'll already be prepping for the spring to plant out in March and April, because things like peppers and tomatoes, they need like 6 to 8 weeks for the transplants to get big and sturdy enough, and then we get a head start on our season by starting the seedlings, that far in advance. So, the first day that's starting to warm up, we can put the plants in the ground, and we'll just have like 2 months head start, and we'll be able to harvest sooner as well. But yeah, right now it's just been a big transition to the cool season stuff, getting all the summer crops out of the garden right now. Yeah, right now we have mustards and collards coming in, and people cannot get enough of them. I wouldn't say we have a worst selling thing. It's just that we're trying to expose people to different new vegetables as well. We've been growing lots of radishes, so that's really a super simple thing that we like to tell people to start with growing. I mean, if it's your first time, I would definitely try to grow radishes. They're the quickest thing to grow. They're ready super, like within 30 days of planting, you can have some radishes. They don't have tons of pest and disease because they're not in the ground that long. Yeah. And for selling, what we're doing at the farm right now is we donate a bunch of the harvest to food pantries and food banks and churches in the surrounding area around the farm. We also have community harvest days. So we invite people out, and people get to come work on the farm with us. And then whatever we're harvesting, people get to take home as well. We're just starting to sell to a few restaurants, some of the greens, and one of our partners is Top Box, and they have healthy corner stores. So we sell to them, and then they help corner stores that usually just have like tons and tons of processed food. They help the corner stores get set up with refrigeration, and they're putting our produce into those stores. So Capital Meat Supply on Scenic and Foster Mini Mart has some of our greens that they're selling right now. But yeah, things that I would say wouldn't sell as well, when we have the community come out, we're sure to do like taste tests to, give them an example of how you can cook this if it's new to them, and then we'll hand out recipes too. So really trying to expose people to things that they might not be used to or wouldn't sell as well in the store. So our style of farming is definitely more man-powered than compared to like bigger ag. So the resources that I look for and use are definitely like small scale farms. There's like the classic entrepreneurs in this, like Elliot Coleman and J.M. Fortier, Curtis Stone. Those are really good introductions on like small scale farming, and they have lots of good tips and tricks for how to start a small farm. And that's the thing with urban farming, which we consider since we're farming in the city, is that everything is kind of like a smaller scale. We don't have big tractors doing everything for us. So like for our style, those are some resources that I would definitely recommend people look at just to see how it can be done. And the not so like traditional farming that we've seen, explode the last 30, 40 years. So right now, we're just sharing on social media about our events, and we're trying to obviously be as safe as possible with COVID. But we're having Saturday volunteer days. So we promote that on social media and into the neighborhood, into like our partner organizations that we work with. And so what that is, it's called So Good Saturdays. And so we invite people out from 10 to 12. And people work in the garden with us. And then as we're working, we're, teaching them the techniques that we use. So people can come get, some free advice, some free lessons, but they also get to take home produce. So we really, next year, praying that everything is safe. We really want to ramp up those Saturdays for the youth program. Since we're inside the schools, we're just working with teachers and principals to like recruit the students that way. And then part of our project with the mayor's office is pretty zip code specific. So the food that we're growing, we're making sure it's staying in the zip codes that are the most food insecure in Baton Rouge. So 70805 and all the zip codes surrounding it. We're connecting with our partners to make sure that our produce goes to those either food pantries or churches or the corner stores like Top Box is helping us. In the events we try to reach out to community members to make sure that they know that the farm is a resource in their neighborhood. If they're looking for fresh produce, they can come work with us and get produce for free, or they can go into these corner stores and get it at a pretty decent price. Oh, to add to that too, in the spring, we're looking to start small little stands at the schools and at our farm site to be able to sell the produce, because we want the students to see that as well and be a part of that. Kind of like an entrepreneurship leg of the program to show students that you can do this for a living, you can make some money. So if you follow us on social media, or you can reach out to me, we can put you on an email list, but we'll start promoting like little stands so people can better access the produce too, instead of it's just the churches or the food banks. So that'll be coming in the spring of next year, which is exciting.
Combat COVID-19 with the wire method. Wash, clean your hands often and keep them away from your face, mouth, and eyes. Isolate. Avoid contact with others and don't meet in large groups. Keep 6 feet of distance from others. Relax. Use isolation periods to find hobbies and keep yourself busy. Always maintain a positive mind. Educate. With so much information available, it is imperative to spread facts from trusted and credible sources. Brought to you by the Southern University Ag Center and the College of Ag, Family, and Consumer Sciences.
My name is Warner Hall, and I'm grew up on a small farm, and I worked in the agricultural, I guess you could say, industry for 33 years with the experiment station, and then while I was working there, I raised beef cattle. So I've been farming almost all my life, I guess you would say. Small vegetable farm. I grow the different vegetable crops. I grow main crop is watermelons and okra, but I grow peas, squash, cucumbers, tomatoes, bell pepper, onions. And in the fall of the year, I grow the cold crops, which include broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, collards, mustards, turnips, and kale. Working with an acre and a half. Well, probably close to 2 acres. I got an acre and a half fenced in, and then I have about another half acre outside of that sometime I use, mainly in the fall of the year with the cold crops. As I break in there, probably March, April, and part of May, where I don't have anything grow. Well, it's growing, but in March, cold crops, March or early April, you get rid of that, wild up and get ready for your summer crops, which is your watermelons, okra, peas, and squash, and cucumbers, and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think
but it's a year-round job. Yes, year-round, you would say. Most of it is sold right there on the farm, and then here lately, I've been going to the farmers market here in Greensburg. So I guess you could say most of it, well, most of it sold locally, but some of it I get orders from neighboring parishes where they'll come tell me what they want and I'll get it ready and they'll come by and pick it up. Bestseller usually is watermelons and okra. And right now, I can't say I have something that does not sell good. This year, everything has sold good. Starting with sweet corn all the way. Okay, well, I have one that I would say that does not sell real good, and that's kale. Kale does not sell good, but everything else I would rate as selling good. Well, that's been set years ago, and we go by that, and sometimes we increase it a little bit, but I go, and then we'll look at prices in the stores and other areas or whatever, other areas where people are selling, and that's the way I adjust my prices. Well, there's a farming industry, what I'm doing. There's not many of us around. It's a lot of hard work, and uh, there's some changes, I guess. Most of it's determined by the climate condition, rainfall, and moisture, but uh, things have some changes that I would like to see. Is say, for instance, pesticide. Most of those packaged for the large farmers. I know here lately I was trying to purchase a fungicide, and the goods are 2.5 gallons, and the price of them. 2.5 gallons would probably last me 20 years. And I would like to see the industries break it down to where they sell quarts or pints of the various pesticides that are used. That's the main thing, the main drawback that I would like to see changed. If you're interested in farming, first of all, you're gonna have to have some knowledge about farming, and you're gonna have to know what you want to grow in that area and what if it will grow and what varieties are best. You're gonna have to depend on your extension service and universities to get that information, and you're gonna need there's quite a bit of equipment that you're gonna need if you're gonna be say half acre or more. You're going to need a tractor. You're going to need some tillage equipment, and then lots of time there's going to be need for a tiller. So it's you have a lot of equipment. You're going to need spray equipment for spraying for pests. You're going to need that, and also when you get that, you got to determine. You got to check your soil out. Have your soil checked out, and you got to know what type of area. You got to have an area where you can get at least 6 to 8 hours of sunshine daily, because most plants require 8 hours plus daily. So there's a lot of factors that you have to look at before you can just get into farming. And a lot of people, they think that it's just, you can say, well, I'm going to go out and grow this and go put some seed out and expect for it to grow. You got to check it often, watch for it, know what you're doing, and just follow. There's publications and stuff that you can read, and it'll determine, it'll tell you how to plant or whatever, harvest, and when things are ready, and what to look for as far as pests and so forth. Main thing is get an area, do a soil test, and then you will know from there how to fertilize or whatever and get started. And also, you need to know what season that you plant certain crops. Some of them are spring, summer, and fall, and you have winter. So you have to look at that also. Yes, that's my main customer, so they play a big role in my operation. You know, my operation started out as a hobby and just helping my mama grow vegetables there, and then before I retired, I kind of got interested in it, and it started out and increased 3 times, but my age now and the health problems, acre and a half is way more than what I can handle by myself, but I have some help to help me with it.
Hi, I'm Lily Howard, a dialysis nurse. I see many patients who are not active and they don't eat properly, consuming too many calories. One of the best ways to eat well and burn calories is to have your own small farm. Growing vegetables help you to both stay active and eat well. It also teaches great discipline. You can see my story at suagcenter.com.
My name's Allison Guidros. My husband Grant and I run Fullness Farm in Baton Rouge. We started farming it in 2015. So we've been farm's been going for 5 years now. We're both from Baton Rouge, and finished getting my master's degree at LSU, looking at soil health and looking at the soil on our farm. And we have 2 kids. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Yeah, good question. And we both don't come from a farming background. My dad was a professor at LSU, grew up in the city, and we started getting involved in horticulture and growing when we were in college. We went to LSU. We started LSU as undergrads in like 2008, 2009. And that's when there was a big financial crash, and we were, whenever you're starting college, you're learning about all kinds of things. And so all of it combined kind of pushed us to wanting to do something that was real in some senses. My husband was in finance before the financial crash and everything. And we joke, he said he thought that he would work a little bit and make a lot of money, and that's what would make him happy. But now we work a lot and make a little bit of money, and that makes us happy. But we just fell in love with growing. I worked in community gardens as an undergraduate, and then we started a business in college, putting in raised beds for people, designing, installing, and maintaining custom organic raised beds. That was our tagline. And then after we graduated, we got married, and then we worked with Slow Food Baton Rouge, a nonprofit with AmeriCorps. Did what is like a year of service, and did local food events, school gardens, community gardens. But we got to tour a farm there when we were working for Slow Food, and they offered us an internship. It was a organic farm in Alexandria called Inglewood. It's still going on now, and they were new, just getting started. And so we did a year internship there, and then did another year and a half at another farm in Arkansas, and with the intention to learn how to really have a small farm as a business. And so then we came back home, and then that's how we found our way to where we are now, and that's how we started. You learn more and more about the planting and timing of everything, every garden that you have. But right now we're in November, still at the kind of beginning of November, and it's still a great time to get in all the cool season crops. We kind of think of the farm year starting when school year starts, so that's when we try to get all the cool season stuff planted. But we plant every week. We're planting something every week on the farm. So right now it's a great time to get in like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbages, all your greens. collard greens, mustard greens, kale, Swiss chard, spinach, lettuce. We do a whole lot of lettuce on the farm. All the roots are really great to do now, turnips and beets and carrots. And then once we get to January, we try to get start thinking about, it's in the middle of the winter. It's kind of crazy to think about, but we try to start thinking about when what plants we want to have in for the warm season. And that's like your kind of things that we kind of think of as vegetables here, which is like squash, okra, peppers, tomatoes, eggplants, cucumbers, all that kind of stuff. But here in South Louisiana, we can grow 52 weeks of the year, whereas up north, New York or something like that, they really only have 5 months of the year that they can grow in. And so it is kind of a challenge to get good growing information for where we are. And so the key things that you look at when you're growing is your zone. So I'm in Baton Rouge, and so we're like 9A, 8B, 9A. That's the USDA zone. And then that tells you your average first frost date and last frost date. And on anytime you order in seeds and stuff like that, that's kind of what they give you information based off of, is first frost, last frost date kind of thing. Because tomatoes and stuff like that, if there was a frost, it would kill them. It kills them right away. So you want to plant them after your last frost. Yeah, we're actually growing on just an acre right now.
Okay.
We started with half an acre, and we have a permanent bed system where we don't till everything in and reform the beds. The beds are just where they are permanently, and they always have something growing in them. So some of the beds might get planted 4 or 5 times 1 year. So it's an acre of tilled area, but in the whole year it might be 4 acres worth of planting or 5 acres worth of planting, because we grow so many short quick crops like the lettuces and baby greens and things like that. Well, we've done different things at different times, but right now it's my husband and I, and then we have an apprentice, and we have different kind of ways that people can work with us. We have, and we personally differentiate them by volunteers. Then we have interns, which we get quite a bit of student interns from LSU, because we're 10 miles from LSU. And then when I was doing my master's degree, and then I also helped teach an organic horticulture class, organic horticulture with Dr. Matzenbacher for 5 years. And so I just had connections with LSU. So we would get interns, and those are people that typically aren't working for pay and are doing it for class credit. But then we also offer an apprenticeship where somebody's committing to work a year with us. And we just feel so indebted to the people that taught us. And so we want to make sure that we're teaching other people as well. But so they work for us for a year, and at the end of it, the goal is that they know how to run a farm, run their own farm. So we have an apprentice now. So that's what we do. And I have somebody that comes out and volunteers, but right now that's what we do. And my husband and I, we've been doing it for, combined 10 years now or something. So between the two of us, 10 years each farming, and then learning before that. So between the two of us, we have a lot of experience. And that's what I tell people about this kind. Well, it's kind of called market gardening. What we're doing is kind of the term people use now. And it's not land intensive. It really isn't, an acre. There's acre plots everywhere. It's not land intensive. It really isn't that much capital intensive. It doesn't cost a whole lot with tools and everything. We use a walk behind tractor and not like a traditional 4-wheel tractor and all that. But it is knowledge intensive. It's like a trade. It's like any kind of trade. And I always encourage people, if they're really serious about wanting to have a farm, is to work under somebody and to get have some kind of mentor, have a mentorship where you can, there are just so many, little nuances in how everything works if you want to have it as a small business. But everybody can grow food at their home. Everybody should be growing food. That's not hard to do. Growing the food is the easy part. If you're having a business, it's the marketing and selling and all that kind of side of it that takes really, and making sure you've got consistent production year round. Yeah, good question. Well, we sell at the Red Stick Farmers Market downtown on Saturdays from 8 to 12 every Saturday. We have what's called a CSA, that stands for Community Supported Agriculture, and it's kind of like a subscription where people sign up at the beginning, and we do a 16-week CSA. So they sign up at the beginning, and then they'll get a bag of whatever's fresh on the farm. But we try to have a really good selection of like spring mix every week, or an herb every week, some kind of allium like a garlic or green onions or garlic chives or something like that. And then we'll have a few other items, but we try to make sure we definitely have herbs and spring mix and like some kind of something that's good to cook with, the allium. And so we have the CSA, and then we did have a lot of restaurants. The restaurants used to make up about half of our business, but that, dropped overnight with COVID. And then we started a website, and we were doing a lot of deliveries at the beginning, but we kind of gone away from that. And, but yeah, it's all direct to consumer. But another place that people can get it now is Iverstein Butcher, which is on Perkins Road, and it's a good friend of ours. And he has a butcher that sources all their meats locally, and so they've got cooler cases there, and we have our greens and everything there too, that people can stop by there anytime, or normal business hours. But we're kind of looking at what are it we like I said, the growing isn't hard and the demand is there. It's just making sure that we can get the products to the people in the most efficient way, like whatever's best for our customers, and that changes over time. And so we just try to adapt while being a small business. Yeah, for us, it is like a call. It does feel like a calling, in some senses. Like we live on our farm and work on the farm, and my husband and I both really love it. And but it is also a business. It is a business as well. And I think that there's definitely plenty of demand. I think the market demand is there for more small farms, and like this we look to serve 200 families with our farm. So to us, it feels like there needs to be a farm like ours in every neighborhood. 200 families. That's like, but I think it should be thought of as a business, and I also think it is also a lifestyle as well. There isn't like, people talk about, it's really important to have home work, life separation or whatever, but I don't know, there's a lot of benefits to having it be all close together as well. So that, I kind of answered your second question first. The first question about how has it changed? We definitely have seen just customer knowledge grow a lot more whenever we were selling with the farm. The first farm that we worked on, Inglewood and Alexandria, my husband would drive down from Alexandria to Baton Rouge and sell at the Red Stick Farmers Market every Saturday. And so at the farmers market, you have an instant connection with the customer and instantly get feedback. Do they like it? Do they not? What do they think about the price? What do they think about the quality? All that kind of stuff. And so he really knew what customers wanted. and we used to do a lot more education with the customers and tell them why it's important and all that kind of stuff. And now there's just been a lot more documentaries come out, and maybe just seeing other parts of the country do this smaller scale market farming, focusing on quality instead of quantity, and really developing a relationship with your customers and being a part of the community and all that kind of stuff. That's happening all around the country, and maybe people are seeing that and documentaries and whatever, but just customer knowledge and everything would be one thing that's really has changed a lot. And demand just is increasing. Spring mix, that's what we call our lettuce mix. That change, it has maybe like, you can have from like 5 to 15 different types of greens and leaves and stuff in there, but it's all washed and ready to go. But our spring mix is our best seller. That's really what we're known for. People like that, it comes in a bag, washed and ready to go. We tell our customers, if you're making the effort to get there, to come on a Saturday morning to the farmer's market and shop with a local farmer, we want to make it easy for you once you get our product home. So we really try to have all of our products be clean, ready for people to use right away. So the spring mix wash and ready to go is our best seller. And our worst seller, we grow all kinds of weird stuff. We grow all kinds of weird stuff. So sometimes we'll grow things and people just don't know what to do with, like maybe like fennel or something like that, where didn't really grow up eating it and don't really, there's no recipe comes to mind with it, things like that, where only maybe like certain people would like seek it out, and the other people we just kind of tell them about it. It looks interesting, they ask questions, and but yeah, we'll grow all kinds of weird things. So but diversity, diversity has helped us. Diversity with what we grow and the diversity of how we sell it helps make us more resilient to changes that will inevitably happen in the market or whatever. Well, I love books as far as resources go. I'm more I know more about that than like we haven't done any grants or anything like that, so I'm not sure about, like, I know that there are those kind of things for beginning farmers, especially women and minority veteran farmers. So if you're in any of that camp, there definitely are resources for loans and all that kind of stuff. As far as books, the first book that we read was by Elliot Coleman, The New Organic Grower. And then when we were working on a farm, there was the Market Gardener. Market Gardener came out by Jean-Martin Fortier. That one's excellent. And then there are a lot of, I really like soil, I'm interested in soil. And so there are a fair amount of soil books that are really good. But Building Soils Naturally is the one that I've been reading most recently. That's really good. And Lean Farm by Ben Hartman is another really good book. And then I would also really look for people resources, kind of like I was saying with the mentorship before, or people in your community, or like if there's somebody in your family that still farms or has land or farming equipment. What everybody's own situation will be different, but I would just look within your own circles for resources. Your community, our community is provided to be really rich to us, and I think it'll be like that for other people too. People really like to see, everybody wants to have access to good food, good, clean food. And so we found that people in the community really want to help you and help you do this. And so I would encourage that with other people. Look into farm to look at your neighbors as a potential great resource. And then also there've been, you know, like Southern and LSU have had different programs recent, like in the past several years, many years. So, you know, keeping your ear to the ground about that kind of stuff too. That's a great resource for people here in Louisiana. Market farming, market gardening, and what that means to me, at least, I think maybe that it could mean different things to different people, but to me, it means a very intensive growing method where we have a permanent bed system where we try to plant things very intensively, both spacing wise and also time wise. Have something always in the ground, and then the whole, you know, it's called market gardening because it's going direct. It's direct market. It's direct to the consumer instead of going to being sold to a wholesale distributor, and then maybe going to Walmart's or the different grocery stores or things like that. We try to sell directly to our consumer, and that helps with a lot of things, with communication and making sure that they get what they want. And then on the farming end, it makes sure that all that customer dollar is coming back to you, and instead of having a lot of middlemen that need to make the money as well. But with especially that book that I mentioned by Jean-Martin Fortier, The Market Gardener, he really lays it out with lays out the whole system really well and explains it well. But there are lots of tools that are getting to be developed for this system, where it's beds that are on 4-foot centers. They have 30-foot bed tops with 18-inch aisles. And so they're making a lot of small tractors and tillers that have the 30-inch bed top spacing, and seeders and hose for weeding, and just all kinds of different tools that make this style small scale intensive farming more profitable, make it more possible that it would be profitable by having tools that make it all efficient. And so it really, there's been kind of, I've seen a kind of revolution of this small farming, market gardening, just with the books that are out there. As far as resources too, I didn't mention the videos, YouTube. There are just thousands of videos out there, resources out there now, for people that are wanting to do this small scale market gardening. And I think it's just a great time to do it. And like I said before, we're passionate about teaching other people to grow. And if there's any way we can help anybody at any time to grow, to learn how to grow, or to get the tools or anything that they need, we would like to help.
For more information, call 225-771-2242 or visit our website at suagcenter.com.